Hey beautiful people, so this video was going to be originally for our Hedge School, our Hedge School, Mystery School, Tarot Journey tutorial and teaching. And as I've kind of worked with this and lent into it, felt into what it wanted to become, I felt the importance of sharing it and opening it up for everybody, which is what I've done. This video is all about words, the power of language. Words don't just convey meaning, they are a force. So I was leaning into this, and it was going to be for those that are working within the Hedge School, looking at how they use language within their consultations, within healing, within that therapeutic approach. Because I've always said, even if you're just turning the cards, if you're kind of working in a way that is coming from a place of healing and a place of service, your words, they don't just convey meaning, they are a force. Words heal. I work with holistic mediumship. The more I work with words, if it be in a consultation, turning the cards, within my writing and storytelling, the more I feel and see the energy within the words, and behind the words. Take those moments when you're having a conversation with somebody and you just feel like there is a discord between what is being said and what you're feeling. Okay, you feel there is a discord between what is being said and what you're feeling, like a ripple. A discord is the right word. So we're using language right now. It's all about communication. You just feel like there's this drop of energy, or something doesn't sit right. It doesn't feel aligned. It doesn't feel like there's a flow to it. It doesn't feel like there's an energy to it. It feels flat or off kilter. It's like those moments where you meet somebody for the first time and you feel like a gravitational pull towards them, or you just feel that you just feel repelled. What is that? There's so much happening, and I think that is the thing, that language is so powerful. All those conversations that you have with yourself, okay, that's a really important one as well. And it starts there. How are you talking to yourself? How do you speak to yourself? And there's times when you're working and just those words will come through, or a certain mannerism will come through, a certain kind of attitude will just surge through, and then that person says, "Oh my God, you're speaking just like my dad did. You're not only speaking like he did, the mannerism's the same." It's like, oh my God, it was like for a moment there I was hearing my dad. Well, who am I channeling? Your dad. It's like it's in a way kind of removing yourself from the situation and becoming that blank page. There we go. Becoming that blank page and allowing them to write the story, to write the message. Beautiful. Love that in real time. Absolutely love that. It's really, really powerful. So, good words come from that place. Stories and metaphors are really a powerful way to stimulate hope and to kind of move around that resistance and kind of go within when you're working with that person in service. When you turn the cards, you're also looking to piece together the story without embellishment. You don't want to embellish the story. Again, it's about getting out the way and feeling what you're feeling, seeing what you're seeing, and delivering that. Okay, you're looking, when you turn those cards over, you're looking to piece together the story without embellishment, in its pure raw form. Now, I have a very powerful medicine story for you called The Bottle. Okay, really powerful medicine story. So there we are, there I am, many years ago, and this wonderful client over the years has given me the grace and given me the opportunity to share this story, removing their identity. They've always said to me, if this can help others, then please do share it. But at the time, it was huge. It was brutal, in fact. So there I am, sitting there in that space. Gentleman comes through, takes a seat. As he does, he's shaking my hand, and he's shaking my hand as he goes to sit down, and it's almost like he's breaking my hand. And I thought, he's really kind of measured. There's a real kind of feeling of, there's this huge sense of measure in the way that he has shaken my hand, and also it kind of felt very contained, if not controlling. Okay, because everything about it was, it was controlled. I'm okay, but yet he was there with me. So as Spirit have always said to me, you've heard me say this, they've always said to me, all information is information. So what was I feeling? I was feeling that something wasn't congruent. Something was off kilter. Something was out of alignment. Something wasn't genuine about that handshake. It was very measured. It's all information. And then I felt this presence behind me. This presence behind me, two presences behind me, one to the left of me, one to the right of me. The one on the right of me stepped forward. So I'm like, okay, so you want to speak first. All information's information. You want to speak first. Okay, who are you? Do you see the amount of subconscious questions that you weave into a consultation? Who are you? You want to speak first. Who are you? And I knew it was a male presence, and I thought that's fatherly. And why are you here? And then I felt so strongly, before I could even think about it, I'm like, I got your dad here, and he says, when are you going to fucking stop? When are you going to fucking stop? When it's too fucking late? And this gentleman, client, sat back, then leaned in and said, well, you can tell him to fuck off, and you can fuck off too. And I remember thinking, oh my God, it all really happened very quickly. This happened over a decade or more ago, probably about 13, 14 years ago. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh. And then I look at him and said, so you can take that to be your dad? And he went, yeah, as I said, he can fuck off and you can fuck off too. And I said to him, I can promise you, what he's coming through with is here by design to heal and to help. And I'm relaying that message. And truth absolutely serves us, even if it's painful. And with that, he kind of softened. So I was just absolutely reaching him by being really kind of myself and saying, listen, you know what, I've been doing this for a fair time. Whatever's coming through, I can guarantee you it's coming from a place of deep care, and what is fueling that is their love for you. Okay, and with that, he kind of he did, his energy just kind of softened, and he kind of like, almost as if he dropped for a moment into a place of rest. He went, okay. And I went, what's really, really important for us to understand why he said what he said to you? He went, you know what? Okay, he's right, but I just didn't want to hear it. And with that, he got really emotional. There was a lot of tears. And then I felt this huge sense of loss. But it wasn't the loss of his dad. It was this sense of loss of a relationship. And I thought, that's there. But also there's this feeling of loss within himself. As if he's lost himself. And this feeling of feeling eroded, of feeling of being buried. And then that kind of escalating, and then a sense of him numbing himself. And then I saw bottles, and I thought, this is drink. This is all around drink. And I shared this with him as I unpacked it. I shared what I was seeing, I shared what I was feeling, and he went, you're absolutely right. And we shared that. And we also shared a pathway forwards. But I also said to him, there's so much pain in there that in a way wants to be released. It wants to unlock. Now, he went home and he wrote and shared this with me. He went home and he got home. By the time he got home, he was processing this, and he was feeling like, you know, like a huge sense of kind of like agitation. And he had become an alcoholic. He'd become an alcoholic. When he got home, he went to the fridge, pulled out a bottle of vodka, and drunk it. Within under 10 minutes. He goes into the bathroom and he passes out. That wasn't the first time. It wasn't the first time. He passes out and he wakes up and he had shit and he had pissed himself. And he woke up and he looks down and he's shit and he's pissed himself. That wasn't the first time either. And he could smell himself. And he stands up. And normally in that situation, he would strip down, chuck everything in the washing machine, clean up as if it never happened. But as he stood up, he looked in the mirror, and all he could remember was my words, his dad's words, which was, when are you gonna fucking change when it's too late and you're fucking dead? That, when he looked in the mirror, is all he could remember. It's what he remembered. And it was like something snapped. Something just shattered. It's almost like a light bulb went on and he looked back at himself and thought, my God, my dad's right. Shane's right. And with that, he slowly got into the shower, and he was in the shower for some time. His words to me was, it was like a sense of being reborn, a cleansing. And after some time, he gets out the shower, looks into the mirror, and he shaves. Something he would do a few times a week, but it was like, his words was like, he's dishevelled. He shaves. He puts everything straight. wraps himself up in a dressing gown, and he walks into the bedroom. Now this is where it gets even more powerful. He walks into the bedroom, and the curtains have been drawn. And what had happened, he had a problem with drink. He was absolutely like numb from life. He was buried under trying to make everything work, pay all the bills and everything else, and that was back then. And he had a problem with drink become a way of numbing the situation and anaesthetizing himself. Several coffees in the morning to get going, a bottle of vodka in the evening to numb and anaesthetize himself. And eventually what had happened was his wife had left and walked out and gone, and he hadn't slept in that bedroom since. He hadn't slept in that room since. He was sleeping on the couch, and there were nights where he'd been sick down himself, or he'd wake up and he'd pissed himself. He hadn't slept in that bedroom, hence the curtains being drawn. He hadn't gone in there. She left and he never went back in there. So he goes in there, pulls the curtains open, opens all the windows. Look at the power in that. That action alone is huge. Opens all the windows, pulls the curtains, lets all this fresh air in, and he hops into bed. And he sleeps. 9-10 hours, boom, out. Wakes up, as he said, as if he was coming from a really deep sleep. And he gets up and he walks into the kitchen, opens up the fridge that had a smaller bottle of vodka and some beers in there, but no food. And he thought, right, pours it down the sink, and he goes shopping and he buys food. His words to me was that was the first day of the rest of his life. And that he shared with me so openly and so graphic, because we had created that rapport from the moment we sat down together, which was, Spirit have always said to me, truth is always going to serve. It may not be comfortable, it may be painful, it may be raw, it may be even wild. You know, I remember thinking to myself in that moment, oh my God, this is someone that's sitting here, I'm here to serve, and I'm saying to them, when are you going to fucking change? When are you going to fucking change? When you're fucking dead? That's what your dad has to say. And I didn't filter that. You know, Spirit have always said to me, truth is what serves. And, you know, that didn't happen day one of my career. That didn't happen on day 100 of my career. It didn't happen in the first year, second year, third year, fifth year. It happened about a decade into my career. Okay, but it could have happened a lot sooner. But, you know, that wasn't in my nature. You know, back then it was like, you know, gentleness. And I was still hugely gentle. But I knew the importance of those words. I could feel it. It was like there was so much conviction. It's beyond a feeling. It's a knowing to deliver that truth. I could feel it in him. He was fighting to save his son's life, and he wanted his son to fight to save his own life. There you go. I just felt that then, in that moment, so powerfully. Again, as if he's here present, trying to reach all of us to share the importance of language. How beyond fucking special is that, by the way? Beyond special. So this is more of a workshop than a tutorial. Really special. Very grateful for them. Hugely. Forever learning. I'm forever growing too, and I always will share that. We remain teachable. But he was wanting his son to fight for his life, and he did. You know, it all started with him looking in that mirror and hearing his dad's words echoing through his awareness so deeply. So this is why the power of language is so really, really important. So, you know, there are times, and there has been times over the years, from time to time, I will just within a consultation say, I've got a story to share with you. And I share that story knowing that it either relates to the person I'm sitting with, or knowing it relates to someone within their family. And that happened not so long back. And the person said to me, oh my God, you've just described my dad. And actually I did find him passed out, sitting there in his own sick. So powerful. So, the power of language. And as I say, there's many medicine stories that have been gifted to me over the years. Moments within consultations that become very powerful, deep medicine stories, which is why I say, you know, there's the power of stories, and I see them with two branches. You know, you've got the medicine stories, which are very raw, painful, deeply anchored in the grit and blood and bone of life. And then you've got the otherworldly stories that transport us into the other world. The stories of the Fae, the reindeer takes flight, the coat of stars, Bridget and the burning oak, the standing stones, all very otherworldly stories. And then we've got these stories that are full of grit, blood and bone. So I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I am going to drop it into the Beyond the Hedge portal for all those that are working Beyond the Hedge, and I'm also going to open this up. Chuck talking about language, Chuck plays this also onto YouTube, and also I'm going to do a shorter version for Instagram over the coming week or so as well. So yeah, I'm going to leave this with you. If you feel inspired to take the tarot journey, after all what we've just shared, if you feel inspired to take the tarot journey, you can head over to the website, which is www.shanegadd.com, and you will find the links there for joining the tarot journey, which is a one-off payment of £30, and then each month up until June, there is a tutorial added each month. There is also opportunities for practice sessions, and then we take a break for the summer term, which is from June all the way through to September, and we'll pick up terms again in September. And then we also then pick up the tutorials, which is way beyond tarot. It is a fusion of magic, holistic mediumship, seership, turning the cards, runes, just kind of the wealth of wisdom that I have gathered over the years being dropped into that space, and it will evolve as we move forwards. It's within its first term, really, within its first year, but there is over, I think, gosh, there's over 15 if not more tutorials in there, and they're being added all the time. So I'm going to leave this with you, going to drop this, place this where it needs to be, and as always keep shining and sending you all so much love.